So a couple of years ago, I did a soul channeled session for a dog that had passed on that forever changed my perspective on how our souls leave our body upon death and what happens once we leave our physical form. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Rainwaters, an interspecies intuitive channel, also known as an animal communicator, and it is really my heart's desire to share the beautiful wisdom and the messages that come through with the animal kingdom, all of nature, and all of the magical and mystical that exists in the cosmos. So a couple of years ago, I found that I started working more and more with animals that were either preparing to leave their physical form, or I had animals coming to me through their humans that had already left their physical bodies, that had messages, wisdom, or just wanted to create a connective thread with their human, even though they were no longer in their bodies. And I had someone book a session with me with a dog that had passed on a few months prior, and I will never forget the depth of grief that this animal's human was experiencing. This person was having a really hard time, even several months, after the dog's passing, of kind of integrating back into normal life. And she really just wanted to know that her dog was okay, upon its passing. And when I connected with this dog, there was such a profound sense of deep love and gratitude and really loving the life that they shared with their human. What I do remember is this animal's passing kind of took everybody by surprise. So it felt like there wasn't a lot of time to prepare. And what the dog shared that forever changed things for me, and it came through with such a clarity in the visual, was this dog was talking about, there is a process of the soul unwinding from the physical form. Now, in times of trauma, that process gets sped up. But in like a disease process, or when we know that there is, kind of a runway, or we know that we have a timeline before our animal leaves, there is this conscious unraveling of the spirit form from the physical body. And the dog showed me that upon death, there are actually fragments of another being's soul. And to me, I'll never forget the image. It was like being suspended in this beautiful darkness and seeing this dog's soul lift up out of its body. And it was like beautiful golden fireflies leaving the soul form and actually merging back into the soul, or the energetic grids of energy that existed within the animal's human. And this dog was saying why grief is so profoundly important in the death process is it is actually the energy, it is the frequency that helps, I would describe it as like soldering in. So it is connecting these beautiful soul fragments of the animal, or even a human that has passed on, into our energy field. So they were saying this is why grief, it's a profoundly important process as we go through death, and it is something that should be acknowledged and it should be felt. And what the animals say is, it's important for us to really experience the grief and allow ourselves to deeply feel. And it's also important not to get stuck in that feeling. But this dog was saying, the grief was like the energy or the frequency that helped wire in or merge their soul fragments in with ours. And they were saying that every time we think of our animals and we feel the deep love and all the beautiful memories of their life, it actually like activates and illuminates where they literally live and exist deep within our being. So we could say this really helped me understand, not only with the visual, because again, it's like seeing this beautiful golden aspect of a soul, like literally breathing out little fragments that look like beautiful fireflies into their beloved humans. But it forever changed this idea of when we think of oneness and our connective thread and like where we exist in all of nature, that everything really is connected to everything. Love really is the thing that connects us. We could say that grief is that merging of, it's what helps merge two soul fragments. And then the love is what illuminates it within us. So if you guys have just experienced the loss of a pet, I just want to say my heart goes out to you. I know this can be such a deeply troubling time, and I hope these messages and these videos help bring balm to your heart and your soul. I do have another video that really talks about the 5 main messages that I commonly hear from animals upon passing, I'll go ahead and put a link in my bio below. And as always, if you guys are ever interested in doing a soul channeled healing for your beloved animals or even for yourself, I do offer one-on-one sessions, and I will put a link to that below as well. All right, hug your beloved animals, and I'll see you guys next time.